You and every human on Earth jump at the exact same moment. 8 billion people leave the ground. The goal is simple: push the planet, move the entire world out of its current orbit. Physics determines if this grand plan actually works. Coordination is the first hurdle. 8 billion people must stand shoulder to shoulder. The surface area required is roughly the size of Rhode Island. Everyone crowds into one tiny spot. The density is suffocating. Everyone waits for the signal. The countdown hits 0. Every muscle contracts. The jump happens. Gravity pulls everyone back down instantly. The Earth doesn't budge. The planet is far too heavy for this. Conservation of momentum governs this interaction. When humans jump, they push the Earth away. When they land, they pull it back. The net effect is 0. The Earth moves by a distance smaller than the width of a single hydrogen atom. This shift is utterly imperceptible. To actually move the planet, the jump would need to be one way. Humans would have to launch themselves into deep space. Since gravity exists, everyone just falls back down. The Earth returns to its original position. The planetary orbit remains completely unchanged. The laws of physics are indifferent to human ambition. The scale of the Earth is simply too massive for 8 billion tiny bounces to matter. The orbit is safe. The solar system is unaffected. The moon doesn't even notice. However, moving 8 billion people into a single state is a different story. The orbit wasn't the problem. The logistics of the gathering are the real catastrophe. Traffic becomes the primary enemy. Every road on the planet clogs instantly. Airports jam, ships collide in the harbors. The migration to Rhode Island creates a human wave of unprecedented scale. Infrastructure collapses under the weight, bridges snap, pavement cracks, people start walking because cars no longer move. The journey takes months, hunger sets in, supply chains vanish. The world economy evaporates as everyone stops working to participate in the Great Jump. Governments attempt to maintain order. Martial law is declared. The sheer mass of people moving in one direction creates localized seismic tremors. The Earth's crust groans under the concentrated pressure. It is not the jump that causes the damage. It is the commute. The world ends not with a bang, but with a massive, global traffic jam. The landing happens in Rhode Island. 8 billion people occupy a space designed for 1 million. The crowd density reaches critical levels. Physics transitions from orbital mechanics to fluid dynamics. Humans are no longer individuals. They are a high-pressure liquid. The pressure at the center of the mass is lethal. Lungs cannot expand. Rib cages collapse. The crowd begins to behave like a slow-moving glacier of meat. Shock waves ripple through the mass. When the first person trips, a domino effect triggers. Millions fall simultaneously. The resulting pile is hundreds of feet deep. Those at the bottom are crushed instantly. The heat generated by 8 billion bodies rubbing together creates a localized thermal spike. Ambient temperatures rise. The air becomes a thick soup of carbon dioxide and sweat. Oxygen disappears from the center of the crowd. The great jump becomes a great suffocation. The noise is a deafening roar of 8 billion voices screaming in unison. It is the loudest sound in human history. The aftermath is a logistical nightmare. Rhode Island is now a mountain of human remains. This mountain is several hundred meters high. The weight is immense. The local tectonic plate shifts under the sudden concentrated load. Minor earthquakes trigger across the East Coast. The smell becomes a global phenomenon. Atmospheric currents carry the scent of decay across every continent. Scavenger populations explode. Rats and crows inherit the earth. The remaining infrastructure of the rest of the world sits empty. Cities are ghost towns, power plants fail, the internet goes dark, the global temperature dips slightly because the industrial emissions have stopped. Nature begins to reclaim the concrete, vines crawl over the skyscrapers, forests swallow the highways. The human experiment ends because everyone wanted to see if they could move a planet. The Earth continues its orbit perfectly, oblivious to the biological sludge resting on its surface. The stars continue to shine. The galaxies keep spinning. The laws of physics remain intact. The universe does not care about your jump. It only cares about mass and velocity, and humans have very little of either compared to a rock the size of a planet. Scientifically, the experiment is a failure. The Earth moved 0 centimeters in any meaningful direction. The center of mass of the system stayed exactly where it was. The only thing that changed was the distribution of biomass. 8 billion people transitioned from living organisms to a very large, very stationary hill in New England. The physics were sound. The execution was a disaster. The hypothesis was proven. You cannot push a planet by jumping on it. The only lasting impact is legal. The state of Rhode Island attempts to sue the remaining survivors for zoning violations. The resulting class action lawsuit for illegal assembly is processed by a skeleton crew of 3 confused lawyers. The court rules that the jump was an unauthorized public event. The orbit is safe, but the lawyers are winning. Subscribe to the What If Club. We have more terrible ideas to explore. See you in the next disaster.